Many of you have asked me to compare gas to electric. Well, each has its advantage. For example, the quiet, tiny little Sukhoi here is very easy to fly. Batteries are cheap, and it only costs $99. The jets cost a little bit more, about $150, and also don't require too much maintenance. Let's talk about gas engines for an example. This Pitts uses a Rossi Speed 61, and you've all probably seen me run my 4-stroke up here, my antique Colt, and some of the planes require big gas engines like the P80 here. Let me show you what that engine looks like. This is the same size engine that is in my big 1/3 scale Pitts. This is a ducted fan engine though, rear exhaust, Rossi Speed 61. And in order to fly gas, here's what you gotta have. You already have your engine. You'll need a starter to start it. You'll need a 12-volt battery to run that starter. You'll need fuel, which is about $25 a gallon, and you'll need a pump to pump the fuel into the plane and out of the plane, and you'll need a NiCad starter to heat up the glow plug in the engine. All of that, and especially fuel, is about 10 flights, 10 gas flights. So you're going to spend about $25 on fuel every 10 flights. If you're going to use smaller engines that aren't mufflered, we're going to run and we're going to show you this antique Cox E-Run. And I'm going to pump some fuel in there and show you the difference between gas and electric. Okay, we're going to talk about this a little bit. The gas nitro airplanes. Fuel's about $25 a gallon. Okay, the starter is a Sullivan I use, that's $63, and a Nike starter is $35. Very handy item, you need that. And a 12-volt battery, about $40. The radio, motor, or engine, and the plane is always extra. For example, my big Pitts is about $350 just for the kit. The Rossi Speed 61 was $385, and I don't remember what the biro drive cost, but that was extra. The Spectrum DX6i that I have in it now is $350. The radio that I originally had in it was my Craft Signature Series, that was $1,200. If you add that all up, the parts of everything, you're going to come up with about $1,411 to get into gas. Now the starter and everything you don't have to keep buying, but you will have to keep buying fuel. And fuel is about $25 a gallon, and that's good for about 10 flights on my Pitts. So there's what it costs for gas. Now on the other hand, first of all, you need an all-in-one charger. Here I've got a Thunder AC6. Plugs into the wall or 12 volts, does balancing, has temperature probe. I can charge every kind of battery that you can think of. You need batteries. They're from $10 to $60 and maybe even more, but you don't have to buy them very often. Battery tester, $13 for my Cell Spy, and that's $153. Radio motors and planes, of course, are extra, but you can get into it pretty cheap. For example, the Firebirds, the Sukhois, the Cessnas are all about $99, and the receiver and the motors are included. All you need is a Spectrum DX6i or equivalent 2.4 gigahertz radio to get into them, and that's it. So the total cost is about $401, and there's no extra cost, and plus pretty doggone clean and quiet. The trick about small engines or gas engines not only do you need to know how to fly, you need how to run and start these engines. This is a needle valve right here. This adjusts the mixture for lean or rich. And basically I'm going to open this up 3.5 turns to see if I can get it started. Once it gets started, you turn it till it is running just as fast as it'll go without quitting, and then back off 1/4 of a turn, and that's good for flying. Now see, this particular engine has its own fuel tank on it, and the Golden Bees were all gold. The top is a vent. There's a tube inside with a small pickup tube, and comes up to the top, and then you've got a vent in the fuel in. So we put the fuel in, and it fills up the tank, and when it reaches the top, then it runs out on this bottom. The glow plug is removed right now. This used to be in an RC car. I want you to see the piston going up and down in there. It looks a little corroded there. Maybe I should clean some of that off before we fly this thing. I'm not going to fly it, I'm just going to run the motor. And what's interesting about this has got a pull starter on it. The way these engines work is you've got ports on the side, right here, intake and exhaust ports. And there's a groove on the inside, and so as the piston goes up and down, it pulls in fuel on one side and spits out fuel on the other. That's exhaust. And that's how it works. It's basically just simply a 2-stroke motor. This is a small one. Okay, first thing we're going to do with this little 049 engine is check the glow plug. And I'm using my little battery setup here. And what you want to do is put one wire, doesn't matter which one, on the positive and one onto the ground here, and make sure it will glow. So go. There you go. Now you can see what kind of glow is on the glow plug. This heats up the fuel mixture and causes it to burn. And once it's hot enough, it will stay lit by itself, and you can remove the battery plug back on. This has not been run in probably 20 years. Let's see what happens. Here we go. Now let's see. Better open it up. Get some more fuel in there. Prime. Is it hot? Cool down, we'll start. Okay, electric. The difference is this. Quiet, instant on, and absolutely